As the ice slowly melts away, anglers will have at least 1 million reasons to fish on Oneida Lake this year.
1 million walleye in the lake is a huge milestone. If those fish are biting, it's going to be a great year for fishing on Oneida Lake.
The walleye population hasn't always been this abundant. Cormorants, a fish-eating bird, preyed on the walleyes, and there were only about 200,000 adult walleye in Oneida Lake 20 years ago.
We've seen this fishery take a huge dent, specifically from cormorants in the late 80s and early 90s, and it was no sure thing that we'd come back to 1 million.
But with stronger fishing regulations and cormorant management, the walleye on Oneida Lake have reached levels the lake hasn't seen since the mid-1980s.
We implemented a more restrictive regulation of 18 inches and 3 per day. Prior to that, it was 15 inches and 5 per day, in terms of what you could keep.
The cormorants have been managed pretty intensively for the last 20 years, which left the door open for recovery. I think what's probably helped this recent boost is the white perch, which one of the big predators on the larval walleye, have also declined.
The adult population mainly depends on how many young walleye fry survive, and in 2020, Oneida Lake could see the population continue to climb.
We know there's another strong bunch of fish coming up that are 3 years old right now. They'll be 4 years next year. So yeah, the population should increase.
But can there be too many delicious walleye swimming in the lake at once?
They're the primary consumer of the yellow perch, the young yellow perch, which are another popular sport fish out here. And right now that population is down from historic levels, and they'll suffer greater predation from an increased walleye population. So it's really not desirable to have the walleye and perch that out of balance.
Walleye fishing season begins on May 2nd, and even though there are 1 million of them, you will still want to get on the water early.
Fishing is good when they're hungry, and they're usually more hungry in the spring.
So while you are taking in the sun and enjoying the water this fishing season, remember all of the people who help monitor the lake as they continue to manage the walleye population.
This walleye fishing depends mightily on the good work done by Cornell University, the DEC, and a small group of dedicated sportsmen. It was no sure thing that we'd come back to 1 million. So we have to keep the pressure on, we have to keep the heat on, and continue to manage what we can manage to ensure a good fishing future for Oneida Lake.
In the town of Sullivan, Anthony Scott, News Channel 9.